Welcome back to the Means Report. We appreciate you being with us and staying with us as we focus on the Dias Symposium, January 8th, 5 p.m. at the Augusta Museum of History. People being honored who go above and beyond for their community, their country. And I can think of no better honoree than our next guest, Monty Osteen. He needs no introduction. Mr. Osteen is a banker, community developer, a leader. We are so happy that you're here and that you're being honored. Thanks for being with us. So, Monty, how does it feel to be in the spotlight at the Dias Symposium? It's a very special occasion. When you found out, how'd you feel?
Well, I felt honored. I told Perry Smith, I said, this is quite an award, and I really appreciate it. So I was very honored.
You know, your influence and your impact can be seen in so many parts of our community, and we'll get to some of that during this talk, but I just want to find out why you are wired this way. What made you wake up one day and think, I want to make my town better?
I think it started in 1979 when we had over 2 million square feet of retail space open up within 6 months. 2 regional malls, which basically devastated the downtown. It was a ghost town. After all the retail moved out, all the major stores moved out. I was with Georgia Road Bank at the time, and Hugh Conley was at Sherman Hemp Street, and we got together and decided that, hey, what do we need to do, or do we really need a vibrant downtown to have a successful community? That was the first question we had to answer. We went all over the country looking at communities. We talked to economists. The answer was overwhelming. Yes, you had to have a strong urban core to have a vibrant and successful community.
And so you come up with this thing called Augusta Tomorrow, which aims to do just what you said. What are your thoughts about the work of that organization and where downtown Augusta stands today?
Well, you look back, September of 1982 was the first master plan. And you look back at what was in that master plan, and you can't help but be proud, because so much of what you see downtown today was the result of that plan. The Riverwalk, the 600, the 900 block of Broad, the hotel, the convention center, the office tower, all of that along the riverfront was in the original plan.
I wanted to ask you about Riverwalk because it is a gem in our community, and it's an example of how we can take advantage of our beloved riverfront. Are you happy with the way that project has played out over the years, and what else can we put down there to make downtown great, right there on the river?
Well, we've had 4 master plans since the 1982 plan. The most recent one was announced several weeks ago and approved by the commission. All of them build on the prior plans. And now we're looking at 40 years worth of investment in downtown since the original plan. We did an analysis years ago to see what percentage of those things that we proposed in 1982, and then again 10 years later, and then 10 years later, how much of those things came to fruition. And the very first one, almost 90%, with $400 million worth of investment came out of that 1982 plan. And then we built on that each 10 years.
What do you want us to be? Do you want us to be Greenville, South Carolina? Do you want us to be Chattanooga? What can we picture to think, okay, our downtown's going to be that one day?
Well, I think Greenville is a good example. I grew up in that part of South Carolina, so I remember the Reedy River. They call it a river, though back then it was a creek.
Right, it was a creek.
It was overgrown, and they've done a wonderful job. And what you need to do in addition, you need to have a strong urban core that it has your cultural center, your financial center, all the activities in the community are centralized in that urban core. Greenville's done an outstanding job doing that. Now they've maximized their resources, certainly with the Reedy River. We've got the Savannah River. We've never really taken full advantage of it. And the new plan, there's some really neat new proposals and ideas about how to connect the river. North Augusta as well. This is a North Augusta and Augusta plan. Which,
That's right.
You know, it's an urban core. North Augusta is part of it. And that Savannah River is still a huge resource that we can take advantage of.
What's the missing link? Is it more buy-in from the government? Is it more buy-in from the private sector? How do we get to the Greenville level?
Well, as I tell my new friends on Augusta Tomorrow's board, if the community buys into this, if the community really feels like they want to get this done, it'll get done. And the politicians will come along. It doesn't work the other way.
You're right. You're right. They'll follow the will of the public. Listen, I can't talk to you without talking about St. Paul's Episcopal Church. Your work with that institution is so important, helping to create an endowment that keeps the church going today. Same situation with the Augusta Museum of History. They have money because of these endowments that you helped create. Why are you so invested in St. Paul's and the History Museum, which are downtown neighbors?
Well, they're historic places. They celebrate the history of this entire region. St. Paul's downtown location, that's seen to be a negative with some people. But that's a historic, very historic building and a very large complex that needs a lot of money to maintain it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's raising money in Augusta, and I've been involved in most every capital campaign in the last 40 years, I guess. Just fairly recently, the emphasis has shifted from building facilities to building facilities accompanied with an endowment to maintain those facilities. The biggest problem a lot of communities have, and this is something that we talk about at SPLOS all the time, you know, we can build these things, but do we have the revenue stream to maintain them? And that's a big problem. And of course, having an endowment at St. Paul's that can basically absorb the utilities and the overhead of that institution will ensure that it will survive into perpetuity.
Without touching the principal. Yeah, it's great. I know you have a great board at Augusta Tomorrow, and you know a lot of the key players in Augusta, but Monty, are there enough like-minded people who can keep your vision going and to make sure that we get to where we need to be in this town, downtown and otherwise?
You know, I'm encouraged by the current makeup of that board. I'm certainly the oldest one on it, and the only, well, I'm sorry, there are two of us that are still around from the original plan. Mm-hmm. But I look around that board and they're really young, really excited. It looks like more like the original Augusta board of directors back in the 80s than in between. This new board, I call them a new board. Most of them are 20 or 30 years younger than I am.
Yeah, but that's exciting though, to be surrounded by that kind of a team.
Yeah, it's young folks and go-getters, developers, all walks of the business community, and I'm very pleased with the makeup, and I think that makeup will cause a lot of things in that new plan to happen.
Well, here's to that, and probably my last question. What about a young person who is out there thinking, I want to do what Mr. Osteen has done, I want to make my community better, but I'm just too busy. I have a job, I'm raising a family, I can't help. What would you say to him?
I would say that every business that you're associated with in Augusta depends on Augusta being successful. So it's in your best interest, long term, in the interest of the community and your business are the same.
The Monty Osteen legacy will be around forever, and I can't thank you enough for what you've done for our community.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's true. Jimmy Dias Symposium honoree, Monty Osteen, January 8th, 5 p.m. Just show up at the History Museum that he has kept going, and you'll enjoy that for sure. when we come back. How you can help us get more great guests like Monty and Helen. It's easy. We'll be right back.